Hello everybody, it is I, Archangel, and today I'm doing my first Ryzen PC build. So up first we have a Ryzen 5 1600AF. It's a 6-core, 12-threaded CPU, and it's brand friggin' new. This build is probably the first brand new PC build I have done since my own personal rig. We have a 600-watt bronze-rated EVGA power supply. We have a Gigabyte B450 motherboard as well. I don't remember if I showed it or not, but we do have... I don't even remember what the case is called. Some random crappy case I got. And also, I forgot to show it, but we have... Or maybe I'll show it later. Either way, we have 16 gigs of 3000 megahertz RAM. It is two 4-gig sticks that we have. And... What is it? 2 4-gig? No, it's two 8-gig sticks. So the one I have on the table right now is was one 8-gig stick, but then I later had to buy more because I also needed to buy an AM4 socket thing for the motherboard, because the CPU cooler mounts to that, and the owner of the previous motherboard had thrown that away. So for like $5 I got a new CPU bracket on the back. There we go. I'm holding the RAM right now, installing the, what is it? Oh yeah, 16 gigs of RAM. This system should be pretty powerful, with the only used parts being the motherboard and the graphics card. And for the, let's see, I already said the CPU. Okay, motherboard. Okay, RAM. What was it again? It was just right here. Okay, we have T-Force 3000 megahertz RAM. So it actually should be pretty good. And then we also have a MSI GTX 980, which you will see a little bit later in the video. But yeah, this is just me building the computer and putting it all together. There's not really much to say. I built a computer. Who'd have thought? The guy who likes computers built a computer. But yeah, no, so everything comes with the warranty, which is pretty nice, except for the graphic card and the motherboard, because the motherboard I got from a used owner, a guy who I've bought a power supply off before, and he lives nearby, and he keeps his stuff actually pretty clean, so I didn't really need to touch up the motherboard that much. And the graphic card, I did it off camera, but I did unscrew it and I did clean it out and everything, which to make sure the temperatures were good no matter what. And the thermal paste was super dry. And it was also a blower style. It's a blower style card, so I knew it was gonna get loud. So I was like, well, I don't want it to be super loud in the system, so let's not put up with that. So I said we're gonna take care of the thermal paste right away, because I know it's gonna be an issue. Because I believe the 980s came out in like 2014 or something. And after I bought this one, I also bought myself my first Founders Edition graphic card to put on my pegboard, which I set up. So I now have a pegboard to mount all my graphic cards and all the cool stuff I take from builds on my wall. I got a pegboard, and I got a cool GTX 980 to remind me of the system right here, because the GTX 980 is actually a really good card. It only has 4 gigs of VRAM, which is a little limiting. So you could get the 980 Ti, the GTX 980 Ti, that has 6 gigs of VRAM, and that's even better than this. But power consumption, I think it recommends a 550 watt power supply. But yeah, no, yeah, that's the graphic card I have right now. I'm just holding it in my hands. But yeah, I'm actually really proud of it. It looks really nice. This graphic card is broken though, or that one is a working graphic card though, and that's going in the system. That's after I applied the thermal paste. I put it in the system, and I prayed that it worked, unlike the one that I had, the Founders Edition card, which does not. But yeah, no, but the case, what is the case is called? I don't even remember. It's some random, oh yeah, it's a Panasonic case is what it is. But I will admit, the LED effects that the case has are pretty cool. I did not remove the plastic peel on the outside of the tempered glass. I probably should have, because the reflection's kind of bad, but I wanted to keep it nice and clean for whoever buys it. I did remove the plastic on the inside of it though, because I didn't want it melting or anything crazy. But yeah, Rainbow Six Siege, we have high settings with 175 FPS. Going to ultra settings, I could do it, but I believe that went over the VRAM limit, and I did not want to cripple my performance by going for the highest settings. And you honestly don't see that much difference in high to ultra settings in like Siege, for example. And Far Cry 5, we have ultra settings because I could do it with an average FPS of 67 FPS. I did use the benchmark for Siege, and I also used it for Far Cry 5 just because it was easy. It's right there, and it's not really hard to show that, hey, this is my system. But yeah, it ran pretty well. I was pretty happy with it, and there I am showing off the settings that I used for said benchmark. And here we have Cyberpunk 2077 with medium settings that average like 37 FPS. It really wouldn't stay at a singular FPS, so I just kept an eye on the number, and it would hover normally around like 37 FPS. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. It is actually a pretty playable experience, even on 37 FPS. It's still way better than consoles. But yeah, no. So it is a interesting experience to say the least. But no, I would personally, I kind of wish I went for low settings. That way I'd get even higher than 37 FPS. Because every now and then I'll get a slight like stutter or something. But for the most part, it's pretty playable. I don't have too many issues. But if you do have a 980, definitely play on low settings if you want maximum performance or smooth stuff. And then COD Warzone. So I used normal textures with everything else on high settings. Shadows, I believe, are on high, but you should never take them to ultra because that'll max out the VRAM, or it'll go over the VRAM limit, and that'll really cripple your performance on a lot of cards. Once again, 4 gigs of VRAM. It was a very smooth experience. I almost never had a dip in it at all. And it was almost always at like 77 FPS. It would get higher and lower than other times, but I don't think I ever once saw it dip below 60 FPS. I think I did on this footage or whatever, but that's the actual footage itself. The game, while I was playing it, never once stuttered, not even when like loading into a match or whatever, so that was pretty good. So yeah. Hello everybody, it is I, Archangel, we're back. Okay, so this is the Ryzen PC build. I said Risen, like the Risen one, rising from the ashes. Anyways, it is a Ryzen PC build. I already have all the specs in the description. It's really good. The things that I loved about it is that it could play all games on high settings except Cyberpunk that could only run at like medium settings. But that game brings like every game down to its knees. So or not every game. It brings every graphic card down to its knee, or graphics card down to its knees or whatever. But everything in this system is new except for the graphic card, which is a little older. But I applied the thermal paste and cleaned it up off camera, and then the motherboard is new, but it's used, but it's only had like a year or two of use, and it's from someone that I know and can trust because I bought parts off of him before. And yeah, the system's really good. I love it. The airflow was good. The gaming was good. Everything. The things that I didn't like though were two things. One of them, the case just feels like kind of like a cheaper plastic, and it could be because the mesh is like just more spread apart than some more closer together meshes. The case itself doesn't look bad though. I love it. And the fans. So, two issues about the fans. Wires. There's all kinds, or wires / cables. So cables, it connects through Molex, and two, it's just a lot of wires all like daisy chained together, and it looks hideous. It's a good thing that this thing has a metal side panel on the back because it is repulsive how many cables there are back there and how annoying it is. And you cannot control the RGB besides the button on top that lets you change the RGB into any color that you want, or kind of almost any color. Basic colors like red, green. There's also white and pink and blue. Like, not that bad. And then these cool, like, multicolor functions, which I actually kind of like. And I also do not like how it kind of sounds like the fans themselves have good airflow, no problems with the temperatures at all. I love how the computer never had temperature issues. But, the fans are like a cheaper LEDs, and they leave this little, like, annoying pitched ringing sound or whatever the entire time. So, the only times I didn't have issues with that were when I had headphones on, and even with no sound, you cannot hear it just because, like, the level of pitches does not go through the headphones at all. And then also, when the computer's in sleep mode, the fans automatically turn off and no ringing noise, and it's fine. But while this computer's on or playing a game or something and you don't have your headphones on, you will hear this slightly annoying ringing tone or pitch that you'll get used to after a while, but it's still kind of annoying that it exists and that it's in your life. But I'm used to it now after like a couple days with it. But yeah, this is a really nice PC build. I really like it a lot. Sorry. So let me know what I did good. Let me know what I did bad. Let me know what I improve on, let me know. Uh, yeah, pretty much any ideas that you guys have or any projects I should take up in the future. This is the Ryzen 1 PC build. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a good day. Archangel out.